Hi, Equals. It's Kim. Took a little bit of video that I'll probably show you from the pool. Whether I did it at the beginning of this, I'm not sure yet where I'll put it. You'll know before I do. But so I'm in New Orleans. I am at the Equality Federation Conference. One of my clients, Equality Ohio, belongs to the Federation, and a lot of the work that I do, particularly around the HIV stuff that we've talked about, around juvenile justice, LGBT juvenile justice work, is all work that I do for that client. And I like to talk to you about things I've learned because I like to learn new things. And so I'm often telling you about something that happened in my day or my week that was kind of new to me, and then I try to connect some ideas, things I did know, and with this new idea. And so I've been struggling here in New Orleans, not with eating, food's been very good, but I've been struggling trying to come up with what is this thing that I've learned. And I went to a lunch plenary today, and the topic was, how to lead through adverse situations. And so certainly marginalized people in the U.S. today are very much feeling a lot of times unsafe, sometimes just psychologically, sometimes actually physically, and kind of this culture that we have now of it's white supremacy. It's and that's what they mean by "Make America Great Again." Is let's make America a white country again. You might disagree with me, but that's a lot of what's going on. And so how folks were talking about that. What's happening is there's this kind of I don't know that it's actually spoken. All right, but that a lot of what's happening right now is this kind of idea in the United States of let's get rid of people who don't fit a certain conformity, shall we say? So that would be, bodies, black and brown bodies, people who are not Christian, certainly people who are not heterosexual. All of these people who are not heterosexual, are not white, are not Christian, are not, don't fit within this kind of white supremacist model, certainly feel endangered in some way, shape, or form. And one of the things that was being talked about was this idea that while certainly people of color have understood from, the moment they could understand the words that their parents were saying, they woke up every day feeling this way, that, that their lives were somehow endangered. Quite often that's from law enforcement. And so they understand this. I have always understood it. LGBT people are coming kind of new to that feeling, particularly white LGBT people are certainly coming to that and beginning to feel that, I think it was described as that pain of suddenly feeling endangered in a way that we haven't felt before. And that, so that now we should be able to say that we understand, or at least to some extent, what people of color have known all along. Now that pain is shared, I think was the phrase. And it's really sad if we don't share that pain. Because here's the thing I really learned. I mean, it's something I knew, but sometimes you know stuff, but you don't know stuff. So I've talked in blogs about identity, words. What do those words mean? What is a lesbian? What is gay? What is bisexual? What is transgender? And while those are important terms to understand so that we know when we're talking about differences, or we're talking about this great diversity that is humanity, that the key here is that we are all human. And I need to recognize the humanity in you, and you need to recognize the humanity in me. And particularly if we're people of faith, whatever that faith may be, then we have compassion for each other. That I may be lesbian, and I may be white, and I may be Christian, but because I'm Christian, I need to have compassion for you, whoever you are. And you should have compassion for me, because we are both human. And I think that's a lot of what we're missing today in society, is this kind of understanding of each other as human, and that we need to have compassion. We need to love each other. One of the other things I learned at this plenary was, and again, there are things I knew, but I didn't necessarily know them. And there was a speaker, he was a great speaker, and he was talking about how it is that we can't always put the burden of ending marginalization, whatever it is, whether it's across race, religion, national origin, religion, sexual orientation, gender identity, whatever that marginalization is, we can't put the burden of ending that marginalization on the marginalized. He is this great example. It's extreme. It's extreme to make a point, which is that we have a rapist culture in this country. Remember, this is an extreme example. We have a rapist culture in this country, and I may not be a rapist, and therefore I may feel good about the fact that I am not a rapist. But the fact that I am not a rapist doesn't end rape. I have to be, as a not rapist person, as not a rapist, I have to be anti-rape. I have to go out there and advocate for an anti-rape culture in this country. Okay, and the extreme example. Now let's go back to kind of the more real stuff. So what that means, all right, for me in particular, as a white person, so it is my job to be anti-racist. It is not people of color's job to end racism. It's my job as a white person to work actively to end racism. So it is not the job of people who are not Christian to end religious discrimination, whether they're Muslim, Hindu, Jewish, Buddhist, whatever they may be. It is not their job to end the religious discrimination. It is my job as a Christian to end discrimination and violence, or to work towards it, against people who are not Christian. In the same way, I am not transgender. It is not transgender people's job to end transphobia. It is my job as a cisgender person to work actively to end transphobia. And for my straight friends out there, it's not my job as a homosexual person, as a lesbian, to end homophobia. It's your job as a straight person to end homophobia. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. I'd love it if you'd hit the red subscribe button, hit the little bell so you'll get notices every time I put up a new video. I hope you have a great weekend, equals. Bye from New Orleans.